Hey, hey, hey.
What's good? What's good?
How are you?
I'm good.
Like,
How you doing?
like for real though, not like the cute like PR answer. How are you doing holding up in quarantine?
Oh, I'm doing great. Quarantine's been amazing for me. How about you?
It's been like I feel like it's been like this. You know what I mean? Like I feel like God has definitely like revealed some things to me, and like
Right.
there I've had blessings, but then there has been the other side that has been a
The
lot.
blessings and the testings.
Man, like the balance is unmatched. So
Right.
it's been an interesting year. I would love to say like let's hurry up and get to 2021, but to be honest, I don't think Rona over, so it don't really matter. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, it's crazy because like it's how it affects everybody differently. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like my mother had the coronavirus, um,
No.
yeah, last month, and like it wasn't that like her breathing. She was kind of having problems breathing for like 3 days, and then
Wow.
her symptoms subsided. And so, and then I've had some friends who have had it and they barely had any symptoms. So it's weird how like it's affecting everybody differently, you know? It's
Mom is okay though. Mom is good
yeah,
now.
she's good now. Thank
Okay.
God. Thank
Okay.
God.
Okay. That oh yeah. So
But yeah, it's crazy like how some people are just it's tearing them up. I tell people you have to, we always want to like we want to wait till something bad happens to take care of ourselves. So it's
hmm
like you have to be eating healthy, taking vitamins. Like they say,
hmm
like a lot of people that get it are like
Okay,
vitamin
listen.
D
Miss
deficient.
Rona ain't coming to my house, okay? We
Exactly. You
not playing.
ready? Facts.
Can't, oh, okay.
Exactly. Yeah,
Anyway.
exactly. So yeah, I mean, just be prepared, be healthy, and you're good.
Right, right. So I'm excited to talk to you because as I was doing my research and just kind of watching some of your interviews, one thing that coronavirus has done for me personally is it has taught me like peace and a real level of peace. You know how like the Bible talks about peace that surpasses all knowledge. Like I feel like that's something I've obtained and
Hmm.
watching your interviews. Just hearing you talk about your journey and where you are right now mentally, I can
Yeah.
tell there's a certain level of peace that you have.
Oh, for sure. I think I just posted something the other day, 2 days ago, talking about being at peace. Like
Hmm.
I think that's really key. Like through this time, is how to make sure you're at peace. Like no enemies, at peace with yourself,
Hmm.
at peace with whatever you're doing in your life, your career. You have to be at peace because it's just, man, like everything, if you let stress get to you and if you let certain things get to you, it's just going to keep building up. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm super at peace right now. I feel amazing. I feel blessed.
It's radiating off of you. I can just tell, like, again, when you speak, your demeanor, not that you're not a calm person, but just watching.
Yeah,
Like I said, you kind of talk in these last couple of months. I think especially since you put the book out, your energy is just different. So it's
thank you.
I'm noticing it.
Thank
Um,
you.
you're welcome. So I want to, before we get into the book, I started to follow you, obviously, off of America's Next Top Model. You were on the co-ed
Hmm.
season, and you were interesting to me. And I mean this in no disrespect to your castmates, but you were probably one of the few people that I felt like was like traditionally good looking. Like I feel like Tyra Banks, no shade, no shade,
I
but
appreciate it.
Tyra Banks has a way of picking like abstract looking people. Like maybe I would have never noticed this, but in a photo shoot, she's fire or he's fire.
Hmm.
But like on the street, would I have turned my head? I don't know. But
Right.
when I saw you compared to some of your castmates, it was like, nah, he just fine. Yeah, like he's on brand with the model brand. You know what I mean? So tell me about your like how did you even get involved? Like was it just an open casting call and you went? Did someone pluck you, a producer? Like how did that happen?
Yeah, it was actually just an open call. One of my buddies actually had hit me and he told me that they were having guys on for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never watched America's Next Top Model. I'm not gonna like front and act like I did. Like
Wow.
I have never really watched it. But I was always a fan of Tyra. I was aware
Mm-hmm.
of Tyra, but I never like sat down and watched a full season.
It's geared towards women for the most part. I would
Yeah,
feel
and
like, yeah.
so like I didn't really when my boy hit me, I was like, I mean, I wasn't really modeling like that. When he had hit me up, I
Mm-hmm.
was more focused on music and acting.
Mm-hmm.
So when he told me, I was like, I guess I'll go try out. And he's like, bro, he's like, you gonna get it if you go. And I was like, okay. I was like, I got a homeboy that's gassing me up right now. I'll take it. and I was like, let me go. And I went, and it was like thousands of people at this open casting call.
Mm,
And I walked in, and I was like, oh my God, there's so many people. And like you said, like I never like I've always been like super humble, and like I
mm,
never like look at myself like I know like that I'm attractive, I'm blessed, whatever, but I
mhm.
never look at myself like, oh, I'm better looking than them or them or them. And when I
Right, right,
look at
right.
like in my mind, when I thought of models, like you said, I thought of like really like eccentric, like really
Hmm.
like unique looks. And so when I walked in this room and I started seeing people, I'm like, damn, I was like, these are like real models right here. And I'm like, I don't got a chance. And so I kind of started doubting myself right away. It
Oh,
was crazy.
dang.
Yeah.
And then you got
But
there.
but then I got there, and I kind of, after being there for a while, I was like, man, let me just kill this real quick. Let me just
Let me
do
just,
my thing.
let
Let
me
me just,
just.
let me turn it up real quick. And
Right.
yeah, and then I
And
got
then,
that call from Tyra Banks, and I was like, woo, crazy.
do you feel like
Crazy.
that was the moment that really changed your life as far as like getting into the industry?
Oh, for sure, for sure. I had been in LA. It's crazy because a lot of people think that I was living in Minnesota when I got the opportunity, but I had
Hmm.
actually been living in LA
Trying to trap it out.
for like 7 years before.
Hmm.
So I was like grinding it out for 7 years before. So that was definitely my break. That set me off. Yeah.
And I mean, what an opportunity because you have been in campaigns, Guess, True Religion, Bloomingdale's, the list goes on.
Yeah.
Um, and you're still working to this day, so there's still more opportunity for you to do so. But I do want to get into your book. I just never heard the
Hmm.
story, so I was interested to know like how that
Yeah.
happened for you. Um, so the book is called My Truth.
Hmm.
What made you want to tell what you consider your truth?
Yeah. So, I've always wanted to write a book. I just really never knew how, but I've always wanted to tell my story because every time I talk to people, they're just like, oh, you're a pretty boy model. You got you came
Mhm.
up, but nobody really, like, I have a pretty interesting backstory, and like I've seen a lot of stuff in my life. So
Because you're from
I didn't,
Chicago, so
yeah. So
I know.
you already know, and so I
Right.
didn't want to come off like this perfect person that hasn't faced adversity or struggle, or
Mhm.
like I wanted to be relatable to people on a deeper level, and let people know like you're not alone going through any struggles. And so the top of the year, when I went through a pretty public breakup, it
Mhm.
kind of just, I had the choice to, you know, run wild with my boys and hit the clubs and
Mhm.
just kind of do what I had been doing, or sit myself down, talk to my life coaches and pastors, and like really like submit to God 100%, and like be like, okay, I'm gonna choose this path. And so in doing that, I was like, well, let me just write a book and get everything out in the open that I felt like I've been struggling with my entire life, struggles
Mhm.
that I faced my parents go
Yeah.
through, and friends around me, and even struggles that I had talked to like life coaches and people that had been through it and overcame it. And so for me, I wanted to just kind of put all this information into a book for other people that may not be able to stumble upon that, because for me, I had never been presented any of this information. Like I had to go search for it,
Yeah.
and a lot of influencers and people we follow on social media, we don't never really get to see like the bad side of things, or we never get to
Mhm.
see how they overcome struggle or what struggles
Right.
they're dealing with. Like even when we see celebrities that deal with depression, or they
Mhm.
deal with infidelity or whatever, we never get to see how they overcome it, right?
Right.
So for me, I wanted to have something that like my followers could actually have something to see somebody overcoming it and how to get through it if they're dealing with it. So it just was God's timing really for me.
Yeah. And like I said, at the beginning, I think that, through you doing this, there's a certain level of like peace that you have, especially considering, kind of what prompted you to write the book. And
Hmm.
I want people to kind of understand again, you were born in Chicago, moved around a lot. Who was Don before we knew who he was? What kind of person were you?
Man, I was a little hard-headed kid trying to impress everybody and get attention that I thought I needed.
Mm,
Honestly, man, I never really like got into a lot of trouble, but I was always like, before the fame, I was like, gotta get it how I live. I gotta do what I
mhm,
gotta do to, um, get to what I need. And I think I got that from like my father being just like a hustler and in and out of like gangs and drug dealing and watching my mother like have carry a few jobs and stuff like that. And um, you know, I was just ambitious. It's crazy. I just wanted to make money. I kind of wanted to like prove to my parents that I was good enough and that I was extraordinary. That was kind of like my whole goal as a kid was like, I just want to be extraordinary. So,
Well, and I saw in one of your interviews that you were saying that often you would try to seek approval or seek attention, and I think that's interesting because I think that most people would again look at you as a very attractive man and think that the attention somehow is an orb around you, right?
hmm
But I think it's interesting because your seeking of approval ended up coming up in other ways later on in your life when it came to your relationship, when it came to fame and how you navigated. So I think it's
hmm
interesting because to an extent, you could kind of look at that as a connection to you wanting to be famous anyway. You
right.
constantly seeking approval, which
hmm
is what, you know, famous people
Yeah.
want. So tell me how that ties in or how that becomes toxic when that childhood trauma now intertwines with your status, your life,
Right.
where you're at. What was that like?
Well, you know, it's crazy because like for me, like I said, like growing up and my father was kind of in and out of my life, I always was hungry for his like full attention
Mm-hmm.
and not getting it. I guess I didn't realize, but it was forcing me to go other places to seek that attention and to
Mm-hmm.
seek that approval because like I would always wanted to play ball and get a pat on the
Mm-hmm.
back from him, like, yo, you're
Right.
killing it, but I never got that. And
Mm-hmm.
then so like when women would come around and I was like the star athlete and I
Mm-hmm.
started getting that, you know, that notoriety, I started being hungry for more. And so I
Mm-hmm.
tell people it's crazy how a lot of times, if you really think about like the so-called like nerds of the school or
Mm-hmm.
geeks, like most of the time they're the ones that end up becoming famous later on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because they were so like they needed that attention or that pat on the back that once they got older, they were like, well, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do this and make sure
Mm-hmm.
I show y'all that I made it, you know? And so it gets toxic because it's like you start to thrive for that attention when you really don't need it, but you feel like you need that
You have
approval.
to have it, right?
And so it's like, when is it enough? And the more you get, the more of a high it starts to become. And then you're like, you know, that's why you see
Face it.
people wearing the, you know, Louis, like from head to toe and designer and chains. And it's
Yep.
really just a deeper issue that we have where we need to feel accepted and stuff. So, you know, me as a man, like I didn't really think about none of this stuff until I was forced to, and I was forced to
Mm.
go find that information because most of the time we're not really thinking about it. We're just like, we're doing what we see everybody else doing.
Right.
And we're
Everybody want
just,
to be famous.
yeah, like everybody wants to be famous. Everybody wants attention. Everybody wants to have, every guy I know wants all the women to be screaming for them. They
Mm-hmm.
want the cars, like they want all this stuff. But at the end of the day, you have to like really be happy with yourself on the inside
Mm-hmm.
because all that stuff isn't really gonna matter. It's just like a cover up. It's just a band-aid. So, you know, for me, I'm like everybody, every time I'll be out there, like, oh, you're the ladies, man. Oh, bring some girls to the table. Oh, do this for us. Girls, girls, girls. And I got to a point to where it's like, damn, like that's not even really who I am, you know? And I started
Mm-hmm.
finding myself doing this to like to get a pat on the back from people that really aren't making or breaking my life. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, I woke up top of the year in quarantine, would force me to sit down and be in my mind and really like reevaluate where I wanted my life to go. And so I was like, man, let me just lock in and take these new steps and just like it's really about reshifting your whole mindset because
Mm-hmm.
we're trapped in this way of thinking that we don't even realize is programmed. Like
Yeah.
I was watching the I don't know if you've seen the Social
Social
Dilemma,
dilemma.
but it's crazy. Like we're just
Yeah.
straight programmed. Like
Yeah.
they feed us all of this stuff, and then we go with the flow. And a lot of times, it's not the healthiest information for us, you know, and it leads us
Mm-hmm.
on a destructive path. And so, to be able to like break that and like, you know, sit down and reprogram my mind is what I've been trying to like preach to a lot of my friends, a lot of my
Mm-hmm.
followers. Like once you do that, you start to realize that that life is amazing and you don't have to worry so much about other people's approval. You just focus on yourself and loving yourself. And from that, the right people are going to come into your life,
Right.
the right opportunities, business wise, whatever it is, all that stuff will start coming. So it's been, like I said, it's been a great year for me, success wise, health wise, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like just all around. It's been a blessing. So for sure.
Yeah, and I was gonna say as well, like I think that, 2020 has made a lot of us have to sit down and have ugly conversations with ourselves. I think a lot of people in general, we fill our time with something. So whether that be your phone, whether that be people,
Hmm.
whether that be something, but a lot of people don't like who they sit with when they're by themselves.
For sure.
And I think 2020 has made a lot of people realize that they don't like who they sit
Hmm.
with. And so, again, I think that's an amazing thing. And I think, obviously, like you said, you had a very public breakup that kind of forced you to go into this
Yeah.
mode. Talk about for me, because, I'm watching the videos, I'm looking, how uncomfortable is it when you've built this brand with a person? I mean, you were going to marry this person, and
Hmm.
then you have to come on the internet, which is nobody on the internet's business, but
Right.
you've built this
Right.
attached socially, right? So,
Hmm.
and then y'all are going through hell behind closed doors, and
Yeah.
then you got to come and sit and tell everybody, um, it's no longer what it is.
Right.
What was that like?
I mean, well, for me, it's hard for one because especially like when you're at fault and
Mm-hmm.
you're the reason for it, then
Mm-hmm.
everybody's coming for you, right?
Right.
And and it's like I know I'm a good person, I know I have a good
Mm-hmm.
heart, I know, but people make mistakes and guys do dumb shit, and then
Yep.
we try to push things to the limit, we do dumb shit,
Yep.
and then we still want the world to love us, but it's like that's why I was like I'm gonna hold myself accountable. And
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, like when you're in a public relationship and you put yourself in the spotlight and on social media, like we're so focused on everything looking good, right? So
Mm-hmm.
YouTube videos, we look the happiest and we look like everything looks perfect on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So then when it's not perfect, everybody was either relying on you guys,
Mm-hmm.
because they're like, you're our hope that I
The
can find true
relationship
love,
goals. Yep.
and then it's like I thought Don was the perfect dude for them, or I never thought Don would mess up. And
Mm-hmm.
then to do it, everybody comes for me. But at the end of the day, I want like I've gotten so used to like looking through comments where it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, negativity, negativity. And and I realize people don't even really know the half. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
a lot of times what they see isn't even really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so like even with me, like me and Leanne are like cool. We're on good terms and people
Mm-hmm.
act like she hates me and that like, what I'm saying? Like
Right.
she would kill me if she ever sees me, but like we're on good terms,
Mm-hmm.
and we're building a friendship. So it's not like it's just like, so people, that's why I'm like, the internet is the internet. People are
Yeah.
always going to talk. People are always going to have their comments, but I just send love. I send well wishes to everybody and hopes that it comes back to me. Because if I see somebody going through it online, more than likely I'm going to pray for them. Like, yo, I hope they figure this out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard. It's hard enough being in a relationship, and then to be in a relationship in the spotlight, what I'm saying, is even
Yeah.
harder. Like relationships already, there's no perfect relationships, whether it's finance
Mm-hmm.
or depression or infidelity,
Mm-hmm.
or like there's so many issues that you have to overcome in a relationship that you're not going to find a perfect one. But it's how do you get over these humps with
Mm-hmm.
somebody that you truly care about, I think
Who's
is
working,
key.
right?
And not vouching, like nobody should be a cheater, nobody should be abusing anybody. Like these are
Mm-hmm.
things that people have to do. But the thing is, I think people have to just get self-help, and like
Mm-hmm.
really work on themselves before you could come together in a relationship. So these are things where it's like I'll look at comments of people that are saying stuff, and I'll just take it and I'll be like, yo, like let me, I guess I'll be, your example for everybody. Like don't
Mm-hmm.
fuck up, what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I'll be the example for everybody. But no, I've learned to not really let it affect me. I'll usually reply when I see people hating, and I'll reply with some love, and then they'll switch up real quick,
Yeah.
and then I'll
They'll
go
not,
about
they'll
my
not
business.
counter it. Right.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that phase because I remember in January y'all posted a video saying y'all were taking a break.
Yeah,
Leanne looked very hurt. You looked like
yeah,
you were just trying to be there for the moment.
yeah,
Um, Talk to me about like even before that, just the navigation of you're in this public spotlight relationship and behind closed doors it's not going well.
right,
Talk to me about those conversations because I just can't imagine being like, well damn, we got to make content or we got to
right,
figure it out because people,
right,
you know what I mean, like at what point did you all both realize we can't do this shit anymore where we're pretending for the
right.
facade?
Well, I mean, it's not even so much that we were pretending. It's just some shit happened top of the year, and then we did a video where we were like, we're gonna take a little break,
Mm-hmm.
and then we talked, and we were just like, yo, I was like, I need to go work on myself. She was
Mm-hmm.
like, you need to go work on yourself. Like, we were supposed to get married this year,
Mm-hmm.
and then to have some shit pop up, it was like, if we're gonna get married and become one, like, you have to be whole with yourself. You have
Mm-hmm.
to deal with whatever demons you've been fighting for year after year, which is what I talk about in my book. Um, that I feel like I never had a lot of men around me take that
Mm-hmm.
step to go do that and become that real man. It's always they'll make excuses for their actions or their ego or their pride. And so I wanted to make sure I set all of that to the side, not made any excuses for my actions, and just really worked on bettering myself. And so that's really all it was, is we were like, because there's some people who will fake for the internet for
Mm-hmm.
years. Like, they may be broken up, but they'll still fake
That
content
coin.
because, yeah, like, you're getting a check and you're like, we'll put our feelings to the side and do these videos, but we really loved each other. And so for us, it was more important to just work on ourselves and build
Mm-hmm.
ourselves up and see where, what I'm saying, see where it takes us down the road. Like, do we come back together? Like, we all run in the same circle, so it's not like
Mm-hmm.
we never see each other. So yeah, but it was definitely tricky because we were like, yo, we do YouTube videos together every day, and
Right, like.
like, and our parent, like my mother and her parents are like best friends, and
Mm,
we were friends before we started dating, and all of our
mm.
friends, like, we're all in the same circle, so we're
It was
all
all
like,
in.
it's like no avoiding each other, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why it was like, yo, Don, how could you do, like, fuck up a situation that's so, like, everything is tied to each other,
Right.
um and I just, like, all I tell people is, like, God had a bigger purpose for me, because from me having to sit down and change some things that I didn't like about myself, and being able to be vulnerable enough to put it in a book, and now I've been helping thousands of people
Hmm.
deal with issues that they never realized they had to deal with. A lot of men that didn't want to set their ego and pride aside, or a lot of women that may have had questions about men's actions, that now I have a book out, and I spilled everything in it to
Hmm.
hopefully help as many people as it can. And so I feel like at the end of the day, like, God doesn't make mistakes.
Hmm.
Whatever has to happen is supposed to happen, as much as we
Right.
don't want it to. And so I kind of just learned to take the punches and roll with it, and learn and grow from it, instead of just letting it be. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's dope too. Again, in your position, like you were the man bringing the ladies to the party. You were that dude at one point, and now you're putting in a book about how trauma in your past and everything that's happened to you thus far has created where you are now. After sitting down and kind of having these months of reflection and writing this book, what did you discover that Don needed to work on?
I needed to work on my self happiness, and applauding myself, and
Mm-hmm.
not worrying about what other people think, not worrying about making other people happy, other
Mm-hmm.
people's approval.
Which
I
which
think that
stems back to your dad, by the way.
exactly
Hmm.
like that, and I talked to a therapist all top of the year, and, like, we really got to talking about that, and because this is stuff that I didn't even realize,
Yeah.
like, I just thought it was normal, and then once we got to talking, she was like, everything you speak about stems back to you wanting your dad's approval and your dad's attention. And it just kind of, like, kept building up to where anytime anybody gives you attention or approval, you're so excited, so happy about it, and you, like, feed off of it. So
I feel
even
like,
down.
by the way, I'm in my own therapy session because I'm the same way, except the opposite with my mother. And I learned
Yeah.
in therapy because it almost creates like this perfection complex. And you probably know what I'm talking about,
Hmm.
where it was like, okay, so if my parent is not going to notice me, everybody around me is going to say, you did a good
Hmm.
job. You were excellent. You played that sport the best. You sang that the best.
Hmm.
And then it grows into the not even necessarily needing like individuals' approval, but putting
Right.
yourself at a level of perfection that's
Right.
A, not not possible, but
Right.
B, also is not sustaining to true happiness. You can
Right.
never be on 100 at all times, or always successful, or always
Right.
looking good, or always the best at everything. So
Hmm.
listening to you, I'm hearing my own mirror in my own therapy sessions. I didn't mean to interrupt,
And I
but
mean, and
that's why I knew
everybody,
it's
yeah,
you
and
from your
everybody
dad.
wants to like everybody wants to feel good about what they're doing. They want to, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like if they're putting in work, they want to feel good about it. But I see that a lot of kids that like aren't getting attention from their parents, either father or mother or both or whatever the case, or have any issues with their childhood, I feel like it leads to a deeper need for that approval when they get older. And we
Mm-hmm.
don't even realize it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but so it's like finding that balance where it's like, yo, I'm working hard, like congratulate me, but not needing that. Like I'm still
Not
happy with
needed.
myself regardless,
Right.
you know?
Like I'm good with what I just performed,
Yeah.
and
So it's
that's
like,
cool. And if people say congratulations is dope, but I'm so fulfilled within myself
right.
that I'm at peace with whatever it is. You know what I mean? So I yeah,
Hmm.
I definitely I feel you on that because I had to
Yeah.
learn that through therapy, and it shows up for real in relationships, that
Hmm.
validation, or you don't even realize the burden sometimes that you put on your partner when
Right.
you need constant affirmation.
Yeah.
Like, and it's crazy because like, the five love languages,
Yep. Yep.
words
Yep.
of affirmation. Like, I'm not even that, like, that's not my love language. However, the trauma from my past, still, I need a
Yeah.
certain level of that just because
Hmm.
of, I need my partner or who I'm romantically involved with to say,
Right.
like, oh, babe, that was great or whatever. So
Yeah.
I can see how all of those things led into, what happened at the top of the year for you. Um, with that being said, I know, mentally you're in a different space. I know you said that you and Leanne are friends. But in general, do you think that after kind of the revelations that you've had and where you're at, would dating even be something at this point that you're ready to do?
Not really. I mean, I would.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really focused on dating, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not focused on dating. I've been so locked into work projects. I'm about to film a movie, next
Mm-hmm.
month. So, like, to think about having to go and start a new relationship right now and
Mm-hmm.
get to know somebody and to
The chore.
break that ice of like getting
Yeah.
comfortable with somebody and
Mm-hmm.
like learning what they don't like and do like it just seems like so much work right now.
Yeah.
It's like
And
either
like,
give me Leanne back or right now I'm single for a while. Like if you don't know me and like we don't know each other and we're not comfortable with each other, like right now I just don't have time to think
yeah.
about that. It's a task.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, let's be real, there's a whole nother layer that comes with it for someone like you. You have fame attached to it. So there you're already trying to decipher, like, are people even really chatting with me because you like me? Or,
Right,
there's another layer on top of just the
right,
annoying, like, what's your favorite color? What is your mom like? Do your parents, you know what I
right.
mean? Like, because I can concur. Like, I'm at the point in my life where I'm so over like the small talk. It's just
Yeah,
like anything that's
exactly.
like
And because what
comfortable.
city are you in? What city are
I'm in
you in?
DC.
Okay, DC. Because I
Hmm.
know LA is so like surface,
Shallow.
shallow. So it's harder out here too. But I like DC though. DC's a nice city. I've met like some genuinely nice people out there.
Well, be clear, like out here in DC, like women got their own coins, so it's not like people out
Right,
here to get your bread. Like, it's the
right,
corporate, national government type
right.
jobs out here. However, still, you never know. Like, people are so. I'm just
True.
like, it's very like microwave relationships. It's very hard to like to establish something at this point in time. I'm so over it. Like, okay, it's
Yeah.
like, what's your favorite color? Okay, what do you like to do in your free time? And then
Right.
like you get there and then like you say something that they hate and then you got to start over.
Right.
Whoo, child, the
It,
dating scene is
it's work, man.
stacked.
It's work. It's work. It's funny. It's funny because I moved my mother to LA three
Oh,
years
okay.
ago, and so she hasn't like dated nobody. And I'm like, yo, like you don't want to go out and meet nobody? And she's like, listen, to have to seek somebody's approval right now and make somebody else happy, I'm good by myself.
Okay,
I'm like,
mom.
you know, and it's real. It's like it sucks because you want companionship, you want
Right,
that,
right,
but like as you get in your 30s and 40s or whatever, you start to realize like I'm working towards something now. I'm not just
right.
working to be like hooking up, and like I'm
Yeah.
actually like working. Like I want kids, I want this, I want that. So
Hmm.
until I'm really ready to put that work in, like unless God just like throws somebody right in my path and I feel that energy right away, then
Yeah.
I'm not really searching for it. But you know, with quarantine, I ain't got a choice. LA's still in lockdown, so
Yo, quarantine has made dating like 10 times drier than it already has been. Like, just
right,
even the like stumbling on someone at the grocery store is not real. Cause like, if someone gets closer than like 6 feet, you're like,
right,
you know what I mean? So like, imagine,
right,
people be like, oh, I met him at the grocery store in the produce section.
right.
Now we're like with our mask on, like, don't come near me, please.
None of that.
So
None of that.
that's all dead. That's all
You
dead
gotta
right
walk. You
now.
gotta walk around with your COVID negative test slip on your shirt.
That's
Let
so
it like right
true.
there.
I'm not gonna lie. When people try to ask me to like, oh, let's chill, let's do something, I'm like, hell no, because I don't know if you got Rona. And then people will be like, well,
Right.
I tested negative. I'm like, but you could have tested negative the day before, and look at your
Right.
ass.
And
Even
then
like,
been around somebody. Right.
and then
Right.
it's a wrap. Like, this shit is scary. So like, trying to date
Right.
somebody right now is dead.
It's tricky. Yeah, it's tricky.
It's
It's
dead.
hard.
Yeah, and I can imagine LA because LA gives so superficial. Like, people are so self-inflated, and like people are fake in general with just interactions in LA. Like, oh,
Hmm.
okay, what can you do for me? Who do you know? Where can we go? Type shit. So
Right.
I can't imagine that. But I did see an interview where you said you want twins to knock them out, and I feel you on that, bruh.
Yeah.
One and
Twins. You want
done,
twins? You gonna get twins?
bruh. I'm praying the man I meet has just that twin gene because I think
Right.
I'm close. I think I'm close. Like, I have a set of twins in my generation.
Oh,
So if
really?
he,
Oh, so
yes.
you right there.
So if he and all of them in my generation have had kids. So the twins had kids, they didn't have twins. So I'm hoping I'm the last person.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I
But if
want
the person
twins.
has twins, then we're like even closer. You know what I'm saying?
Close.
Because
Yeah. So you got to ask every dude like, yo, do you have twins in your
nah, but
family?
listen, Dom, I ain't even gonna hold you. It's getting so lonely out here, my nigga. He can have
Like
negatives.
fuck it at this
He can have
point.
negatives.
Right.
He can have negatives, my nigga. And I'm gonna be
Right.
like, you know what? It is
Right.
what it is. It is what it is. Come on, come
Right.
over here.
For
So
real.
anyway, sorry, I got completely off track. But that twin thing is nothing but the truth. One and done.
Yeah.
Get y'all out my house at the
For
same
real.
time. Anyway, but back to the book. What would you consider one of your most defining moments of your faith?
My most defining moments.
Or when you've been tested, like your faith had really been tested?
mm, I mean, I feel like in this industry is constantly tested because
Yeah.
we literally like, it's like job to job in this industry. Like I could
Mm-hmm.
literally book 5 campaigns one year, and then the next year not really book nothing, and then
Mm-hmm.
and then you're like, damn, and you start to think about yourself and like, am I doing something wrong? Am I falling off? And am I gonna make? Am I still gonna be good? Like I think that's the biggest thing in this industry is like keeping your faith no matter what, and just knowing that things are gonna come because it's always up and down. It's always up and down
Mm-hmm.
in the entertainment industry. You can have 5 jobs, 10 jobs one year, and 2 the next year. So,
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Yeah, because I'm a 9 to 5 girl just because, my hustle ain't set up like that, but God bless
right.
you. Talk to me about how your relationship with friends, family has changed since you've really honed in on your relationship with God and really had this lifestyle change. Like, what has been the reception, and have people started to treat you different or walked out of your life because of you changing your lifestyle?
Um, Not. I mean, I've had. It's funny because like a lot of my boys that I used to talk to on a regular, and now that I didn't even realize like the conversations that we had all the time was all about women or go out or drinking. And
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm like in a different space and I still hear them talk about it when they hit me up and they're like, so you still ain't going out? You still ain't drinking? You still ain't this? And I'm like, nah, and so like you start to feel the distance because it's either like I'm going this way. Like I'm connecting with millionaires and billionaires and people that are walking in faith and doing this. And so it's like either you catch up to me and like change the way you're living, or at least around me, like I don't want to hear about none of that stuff.
Yeah.
And so what I'm learning is like, you know, I still have relationships with people. I still talk to them, but I have to remind them when we're having conversations, like I don't want to hear about that, or
Hmm.
that has nothing to do with me, or no, I'm not going out, or I'm not doing this
Hmm.
no more. And so, I mean, yeah, my circle, I've definitely, like, I still have like my core group of friends and family that are like, dog, I love this,
Hmm.
and I want to start changing up some things in my life. It's inspired them. And then there's some where it's like I don't talk to them that much no more because they're all about, damn, I wish these clubs would open back up. You know, they're
Hmm.
still in the same mindset, and I'm not in that mindset no more. So.
Yeah, yeah, and that and changing your life and doing better always comes with, the disconnection of people who are where you used to be. When you grow, you outgrow people, and that's just the
Hmm.
reality of, changing your life, especially when it's Christ centered. You know what I mean? So,
Hmm.
I was interested to know about that. But one thing you are still doing is you still are working on that music. You actually dropped a trailer today, a little snippet of Static. That's what's called the
Yep,
song.
yep, yep.
So,
Static.
so tell me about Static and tell me about. You said some things in it, but I'll let you tell us what Static is
Yeah.
about.
I mean, it's pretty much it kind of goes in line with my book, you know,
Mm-hmm.
talking about how like we always like we never really appreciate something till it's gone, you know, or we
Mm-hmm.
like how many times we have to make mistakes before we lose it, and then we're, you know, going back to my relationship, but it could be anything. It could be a career that people take for granted. It could be family that people take for granted. It's really just about like taking things for granted and then once like and then losing it, but or waking up before you lose it. Like in the video,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm about to crash and then I wake up. So yeah, it's really about taking things for granted and then just waking up before it's too late, and like the static of your life, like the fogginess, the blurriness of life, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and one of the things that I saw, obviously it's like a car wreck, and that around that scene you see police lights, and I saw
Yeah.
in an interview that you had talked about you actually dealt with police brutality. If it's
Hmm.
not traumatic or it's something you don't want to talk about, do you mind sharing that? Because I was really interested to know.
No, yeah, actually, it's crazy. A lot of people don't know it, but I was like brutally beat up by the Minneapolis police in
Mm,
2000 and like 11. I was doing music and I had like a performance out there in Minneapolis, and that's my city. And so I'm already aware of like the police out there are like they've been doing this for years, and I've been
really?
telling people like something bad's gonna happen. But I had an encounter with them. I had a show, and then after the show, we had like some people back at the hotel room, and
Mm-hmm.
we had like a noise complaint, and so they kicked us out of the hotel. And so I was like outside waiting on my ride to come get me. And it was pouring rain outside. So I was like waiting under an awning.
Mm-hmm.
And the cops just came and they just started like snapping, pushing girls, guys, everybody like, get the fuck off the property, like going crazy. And I was on the phone. So I was like, I wasn't really paying much attention. I'm on the phone waiting for my ride to come around the corner. And all of a sudden I just get pushed like hella hard and like my phone went flying. And next thing I know, like I turn around and like three cops rush me, jump on me, like spraying me with mace, hitting me. Like it was the craziest thing. Like I literally like I had like friends were like yelling like, yo, you're gonna kill him, blah blah blah, get off him.
Mm-hmm.
And so they took me to jail, like left me in the cop car for like an hour with the mace all on my face. Like my whole face was like burnt up. um they took me to jail. I was sat in jail for the night. And then yeah, but I got out and I had got like bronchitis like from the mace in my lungs,
Mm.
and my face was all messed up. And so I actually had a case going against the police for like 4 years. And the crazy thing is the police won because they said that they feared for their life from me. And it was like three cops, and like one of the cops was like 6'7", like 250 pounds, like ex rugby player. And they said they fear for their life from me, and I'm 160 pounds, like. And I'm like, and the jury went for it. They were like, yeah, they had every right to do it because they feared for their life from him and whatever, whatever. So
Were you the only one that night that got beat like that?
yeah, so like everybody else, they like pushed everybody else and then they attacked me. and then like a couple of them, like they pulled their guns on some people, or they pulled like the guns on people in the crowd. And then it's crazy because there was even a camera up above, like where the whole thing happened
Mm.
at the hotel, and like the footage got, like they couldn't find the
Deleted. They couldn't
footage.
find it.
It was crazy. It was crazy. It was yeah. I was going flying back and forth to Minnesota for like 3 years dealing with that case, and then I was telling people like, yo, Minnesota, like these cops are gonna do something bad to some
Mm.
people, and then that was when what's the name,
Orlando Castile. Mm-hmm.
Orlando Castile,
Mm-hmm.
and then George. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
bruh, like Minneapolis police is is so bad out there. So yeah, they messed me up. I had like even when I went on Top Model, like my anxiety levels were so high when I was on Top Model. Like I used to have to
Mm-hmm.
take Xanax. Like I couldn't like leave the house without Xanax, and like I was seeing, yeah, it was bad. It was crazy.
Wow.
Hmm.
And people would never even know. That's crazy.
Never
And you were
know.
dealing with all that while being America's Next Top Model.
Yeah, on one of the episodes, I had a breakdown because I was like claustrophobic
Mm-hmm.
from like being handcuffed and maced and thrown in the cop car and stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
I gained like a claustrophobia from it, and
Mm-hmm.
so like one of the episode I got eliminated actually. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
ruin it for nobody that hasn't seen it yet, but I
Honey,
did get
y'all are 7 years
eliminated.
behind. Come
Y'all
on.
7 years behind, so I did get eliminated. I did not win, but the episode I got eliminated was because I couldn't do the challenge because we were like in an enclosed. It was like an enclosed thing, and I
Mm-hmm.
kind of started like freaking out, and I had like a big ass panic attack from it,
Mm.
and it was crazy. It like
Did you
shut me
say that
down.
on the show while you had? Did you tell people or no?
I did, but I don't know if they were able to like say it because
Eric.
of like legal. You know what I'm
Oh
saying? Like
yeah.
legal stuff. I don't think they could really
Because
mention.
I was gonna say I don't remember that. Now it was
Yeah,
7 years
I
ago.
don't know if they like said what had happened because of legal issues.
Mm, that's insanity.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think people probably know that. That's
And
insane.
I didn't mention that in my book either. I'm gonna put that in a whole nother book. I'm
Come
gonna write a
on,
whole nother book.
exclusive. We love an exclusive. Come on.
Yeah. So that's in the next book.
Yeah, no, but that's insane, and I can only imagine the PTSD that you have. Was there a moment in your mind that night did you think that you were gonna die?
Oh hell yeah. When like literally when they sprayed me with the mace, I couldn't breathe. Like I was like because they were on my back, and so one of the
Mm-hmm.
cops like they maced me, and then the cop kind of like how George Floyd, how they had the knee in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them had like the knee in the back of my head, and then they sprayed me with the mace. I couldn't breathe when they sprayed the mace. I was like
Mm-hmm.
freaking the hell out, and then when they put me in the cop car, I was like telling them like, "Yo, get like I can't breathe. My face is burning."
Mm-hmm.
That shit was the scariest thing ever. Like I was like, "Yo, that was the scariest thing ever in life, for
Mm.
real."
So
Yeah.
seeing George Floyd probably brought up
Oh
something
hell yeah, for sure. That
that
shit brought back a lot of thoughts.
a lot of trauma.
Hmm.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
insane. In the same city, same way. Wow,
Same city. Same city.
that's
They do it
crazy.
all the time out there. It's nuts.
I've heard one of my friends, Danny Starr. I don't know if you know her. She's a radio personality from Minneapolis.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but Danny's really passionate about police brutality, and she had talked about to me, Minneapolis and how it's working there, and yeah, or the last two that we've witnessed is just, and there's not a lot of black people there, right? Or is it? It's not really like a heavily populated black area.
The city in Minneapolis it is, yeah. The city,
Okay,
but outside of the city, not so much.
not really. Okay. Yeah, that's tragic. I'm sorry that happened to you, but I mean, I think the reality is that more often than not, black men can attest to their own run-ins with
Hmm.
police, and it's not always pleasant and it's not pretty. So I'm sorry that happened to you, but I'm glad that you are here to tell us
For
about it. You know what
sure.
I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So before I let you go, because I don't want to dampen your whole night with making you relive trauma, tell me about this film that you have. How is that gone? Because I know COVID probably pushed everything back. So how are y'all planning to execute doing a film in Rona right now?
Yeah, so we're like literally like it's supposed to be a week out of locking everything in. God willing, I've been on my producing partner's head every day, but I actually am producing the film. I'm starring in it.
Mm-hmm.
I created the storyline, so um, Yeah, it was, we were supposed to shoot it in like May,
Hmm.
and then it got pushed because of COVID and stuff. So we're looking to shoot next month. But yeah, COVID restrictions. A lot of cities now are like lighter than LA, so we're not going to shoot majority of it in LA because
Okay.
the restrictions aren't as harsh other places.
Hmm.
Um, but but yeah, I'm excited to get it done. I can't talk too much about it, but when I can, we'll get back on, and then I'll talk more about it.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay.
I'll
All right.
have David set up a follow up.
Okay, okay. I was gonna say, and listen, there was a tweet that went out that showed I think it's called the Bold and the Beautiful kissing mannequins because of COVID. They
Mhm.
have their actors.
Oh
Are we gonna
yeah, I
have some
seen that.
mannequin kissing in
I seen
yours?
that.
Or is it gonna be
Yeah,
real people or what y'all doing?
I seen that. Well, I think there's a couple kissing scenes in our joint, but I'm not sure how we gonna do it yet. But we ain't kissing no mannequins. I'll just say
Okay.
scratch the scene. Like if we can't, if it's going to kiss the mannequins, just scratch the scene, cause that
Throw
look
it all
goofy as
away.
hell. Yeah, just throw it away. Just throw it away if you gotta kiss a mannequin.
Cause you saw how bad it looked in that tweet though, right? Like you saw it was
Yeah, I seen it. Like when they turned and it was just a
yeah, it
mannequin
was
head.
yeah. Listen, if I watch the film and I see a mannequin, I'm gonna pull this back up.
Nah, no, we're not doing mannequins. I'm gonna tell my producing partners like, yo, just scratch the kissing scene if we gotta do mannequin. Scratch it.
Listen, I'm sure if the actress does not want to kiss you, I'm sure they can find somebody on the streets of LA who will be willing to kiss you. So I promise
That's
you,
funny.
I don't think that there will be an issue.
Yeah, no, we gonna make it work. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, that's exciting. Anything else? I know you're working on music still, but what else you got coming up? Are we gonna? Because fashion, what is the fashion world doing right now? It's on pause too. I mean, I saw Rihanna doing her like
I
Fenty
think,
fashion show, but what is it
yeah, I
looking
think
like?
Fenty did a fashion show. I think overseas, I think they're starting to be able to do shows again. I think in Italy, I don't know if anybody's on here that can quote
But
me on that,
But listen,
but
boo,
but
your passport don't work in Italy. You know you can't get out the United States.
well, no, I know. So that's what I'm saying. They need to hurry and open things back up. But the dope thing about modeling is like a lot of these brands are working with people on social media. So like
Mm-hmm.
they'll send, like for the brands that I work with, they'll just send me the product. I'll shoot it wherever I'm at, and then we still, like, I'll send it off to them, or we'll post it strictly on social media, whatever the case. But brands are still working, and I'm actually putting out a model master class
Oh, that's dope.
next, I think, the end of this month. Yeah, so I shot a complete like master class, like
Okay.
teaching people how to break into the industry, because I get hit up by so many people that are asking me on like tips and this and that. And so I figured I'd rather just have all the answers in one place. So I shot a
Mm,
complete master class that I'm
dope.
launching the end of the month. I'm teaching people how to walk the runway, some of my go-to poses, how to
Okay.
get signed to an
I
agency.
mean, can will we learn how to smize? I know Tyra taught you. Will we? Because listen, Tyra taught. Hold on, Tyra.
Hey, okay, okay.
Tyra taught me, honey.
Tyra
Tyra.
taught you.
Okay, I'm a Tyra stan though. I'm a
Tyra
Tyra
taught
stan. I
you.
must say. I must say. I love Tyra. Her talk show changed my life, so I'm a Tyra stan. But are we gonna see smizing in this?
I teach my smiles. I give a little how to
Let me see.
smile.
Let me see. Show me.
You gotta be like
You so light skinned. I cannot. Come on.
light skin. Let me squint. Let me give a little squint.
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay, I see you. I see you. There you go.
That's gonna be the freeze frame of the video.
Yeah. Hit him with the
Yeah.
smiles.
Yeah, I told you I was a top model fan, honey. I was watching. I was watching.
Gotta get on it. We gonna get you on when she come back. We getting you on
Yes,
top model.
when you start getting the plus size models, let me know. I'm ready.
Facts. Let's
What is this,
go.
cycle 55?
Nah,
I'm
it's
ready.
coming up.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Let's go.
No,
That's
but
dope.
so it'll teach basically everything that you know about modeling.
Everything I know, I put in it. It's like a 14 video master class. So I
Dope.
give everything that I know about the industry, and hopefully people take it and it helps them get signed. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
What are your people who benefit from your class gonna be called, like Don's Angels? Like what are you when you get signed?
They go be called supermodels.
Super, oh, period. And that's a what?
Period. That's all they need. They gonna go get that bag.
Okay, where the bag at? And that's the word to City Girls.
Bag. Bag.
Okay, so you got your modeling class, you got your film coming up. Anything else you want to promote? Your book, obviously, My Truth, out right now. Where can people
Those
get
are
that?
my main things. I'm just trying to help people. I think I'm just trying to really help as much as I can with what I know. So my book, my master class for modeling, and the film. It's a comedy, so make people laugh, get through these crazy times. You know, that's really all it is right now.
We need all of that. We need all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate you for being so open and transparent and talking to
Of
me on a
course.
Friday afternoon in LA, but night here in the DMV. So thank you so much, and best of luck.
Sure.
I'm really excited again about your journey and this new, fresh perspective that you have. It's really nice to see. Hopefully you can get some of your homeboys on that, because we need more Black men on this wave, okay? A faithful, productive.
Yeah, we getting them.
Okay, yeah. Just so tell your friends when they get their lives right, you'll find friends that look like you. Tell them, and the ones that like plus size girls too. But get all of them aligned.
I got you.
And then we'll have something to talk about. But thank you so much, and
Sure.
I'm excited to see what's next from you.
For sure. We'll talk soon. Once I can talk about my movie, we'll talk soon.
Okay, all right. And everybody
Right.
here who's one of Don's followers, make sure y'all follow me at Leah A. Henry. It should be in that corner. Maybe this one. I don't know which one. Either way, follow me, y'all. And thank you so much, Don. I appreciate you, boo.
For sure. I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
All right. Peace.